Welcome to Linda's Corner. My name is Linda Bjork. For today's episode, I will be sharing an excerpt from one of my books called You Got This, An Action Plan to Calm Fear, Anxiety, Worry, and Stress. With all the disturbing current events we're facing, people all around the world are experiencing overwhelmingly high levels of stress right now. I feel strongly about the need to help empower people to be resilient and able to handle their problems. You Got This is a thoroughly researched, easy-to-read, well-designed action plan to calm feelings of fear, anxiety, worry, and stress, with a wide variety of proven cognitive behavioral therapy techniques that empower people to regain a sense of peace and control in their lives. You Got This will show you how to decrease stressors, increase coping skills, increase confidence, increase resilience, and find solutions to your problems. The book is available in paperback and ebook formats on Amazon. Today's excerpt highlights one of the many tools shared in the book. These tools are part of the section of the book called Daily Action Steps. If we want to make positive changes in our lives, then learning new information simply isn't enough. Change requires action. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but there is no other way. However, it doesn't have to be hard, overwhelming, or take a lot of time. Rather than expecting someone to completely overhaul their lives overnight, these action steps are broken down into small, bite-sized pieces that are simple and short, so that they can be completed by real people who are living real lives. It's going to be okay. You got this. Today's tool is learning about the CBT triangle. CBT is an abbreviation for cognitive behavioral therapy. Cognitive behavioral therapy is a form of psychological treatment that teaches that our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are all interconnected with each other and influence one another. Therefore, we can change or at least influence one by changing another. CBT has been demonstrated to be effective for a range of problems, including depression, anxiety disorders, alcohol and drug use problems, marital problems, eating disorders, and mental illness. Numerous research studies suggest that CBT leads to significant improvement in functioning and quality of life. Today's action step is to increase personal awareness by using a CBT triangle. A CBT triangle is simply a diagram that shows how our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are all interconnected with each other and influence one another. When you record your thoughts, include the following categories: thoughts about self, thoughts about others, and thoughts about the world in general. To draw a CBT triangle, get a clean piece of paper and draw a simple triangle. At one of the corners, write the word thoughts. At another corner, write the word emotions. On the final corner, write the word behavior. And then write arrows with arrowheads at both ends between each of these corners. This visually demonstrates how our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors all influence and interact with each other. I'll give an example of how this chart is filled out by using one of the stories that I shared in the introduction section. Recall the story of the dreaded phone calls, where I was assigned to make phone calls to people that I didn't know and to set up appointments to meet with them. In this experience, some of my emotions included fear, dread, worry, anxiety, and stress. So, on my CBT triangle, under the part that says emotions, I would include fear, dread, worry, anxiety, and stress. Some of my thoughts about myself were, I don't want to do this. I don't like talking to strangers, and I don't know what to say. Some of my thoughts about other people were, they don't want to talk to me, they're going to reject me, and they might not like me. Some of my thoughts about the world in general were, the world is scary and unsafe. These thoughts can be recorded under the section of the triangle labeled Thoughts. Some of my behaviors included avoidance, procrastination, and finally making the calls. So these behaviors would be included under the section of the triangle labeled Behavior. Using this information to fill out the CBT triangle, I can create arrows and notice that my thoughts, emotions, and behaviors are all interconnected and influence each other. I thought that the people wouldn't like me, didn't want to talk to me, and might reject me, which filled me with fear, dread, worry, anxiety, and stress. So I avoided and procrastinated doing the task. The avoidance and procrastination filled me with fear and dread, because the task still needed to be done, but I hadn't done it yet, and led to thoughts like, I don't want to do this, and so on. My emotions of fear, dread, anxiety, and so on led to thoughts like, I don't want to do this, or going to reject me, and so on. My fearful emotions also led me to task avoidance and procrastination. So you can see that the thoughts influence the emotions and behavior, the emotions influence the thoughts and behavior, and the behavior influences the thoughts and emotions. They are all interconnected, and they influence each other. Today's action step is to choose a recent event and use that event to fill in a CBT triangle. What were your thoughts? What were your emotions? What were your behaviors? This exercise increases awareness of how your emotions, thoughts, and behaviors are interconnected. I hope you have enjoyed this excerpt from my book, You Got This, An Action Plan to Calm Fear, Anxiety, Worry, and Stress. I feel strongly about the need to help empower people to be resilient and able to handle their problems, so I will continue sharing excerpts from the book in other episodes of Linda's Corner. In closing, I'd like to share a quote from an official review from Readsy. It says, "She begins by laying a solid foundation of research in easy-to-understand language and properly labeled diagrams." See you next time on Linda's Corner.